Hi guys, thanks so much for coming to my channel. I am so excited to share this with you and just really excited to finally get this up. Just to give you a little background on me, I am a working professional makeup artist. I've been doing it for about 10 years, and I also own an agency and I represent other hairstylists and makeup artists as well. So my goal here is to share with you tips and tricks on what I use and how I do makeup on myself, but also giving you some tips and tricks that I use as a professional and what works on set with clients, weddings, celebrities, all that fun stuff. But then also I am definitely going from my late 20s into mid 30s, and that's a huge change and shift in skin. And so I feel like I've been starting to kind of change and revamp different ways of doing different parts of my skin for what's going on, and I'm sure there's plenty of you guys out there as well. And so I really hope to be able to share some tips on some of that stuff with you guys. Please subscribe to my channel if you like this. Keep watching. I would really appreciate it. Let me know if there's anything else that you're looking for, feel like you're missing out there. If you would love to see how I created this look, this is my signature kind of everyday, no makeup with a lip. Keep watching. I just realized that I didn't have my microphone on that whole time. So let's hope that entire first clip we just did has some audio. Finish the brows up, and now I've got some shape to that face. Love it. Gives my eyes a little bit more definition because, again, we aren't doing any eye makeup. So just a quick little dip brow on there, a little bit of soap, comb them up. Perfect. Next, I'm going to do a little bit more on the skin, and now that I've given it just a little minute to kind of soak in and set where it needs to be, now I can kind of go back in and see if there's any areas that need a little extra love or some touch-ups. Like, I can see if the product under the eyes has started to crease in any areas, if I need to adjust it. For the most part, and this is what I love about doing this, is that the eye cream I put on first is really hydrating that area of the skin, and then the CC creams I put on are added moisturizer on top of that primer. So much hydration going on there. And I didn't put a lot, so very minimal. As you saw, I just retook my middle finger here, pressed it back in, and again, the goal is the least amount of powder as possible. Powder is not something to be afraid of with older skin or skin that's starting to lose its elasticity, but you want to use a little bit more sparingly than you would have in your younger days. So I've done that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a high def anti-shine powder. This is no label on here, it's on the back, but it's called Menage. It's actually a men's line. And this is like my secret weapon here. I love this product. I use this in my kit also on women and men. But I'm using the Cle Cosmetics 220 brush, and it's a nice flat edge. This is synthetic. And I'm just gonna take it just under that lash line and just kind of buff in right there. That's where I tend to find on myself the most trouble with my skin under there. That's where if I am gonna crease, I notice it right about there. So the little bit of product here. And then whatever left on that brush, I'm gonna gently pat it down. Again, I'm a hands lady, so I'm taking a little bit on my fingers here, just on that same middle finger that I've been using, just in that inner corner, pressing that in. So because my under eyes, I tend to get movement and a lot of wrinkles, that's recipe for creasing. I'm not gonna bake my under eye. I'm not gonna put a ton of powder under there and then wipe it away later, because for my skin texture, that's just not gonna work. So a littlest bit, press it into the inner corners. And the less powder you can put out into that outer area where you get your crow's feet, the better. So we're gonna leave that just like that. So next I'm going to go in and I'm going to use one more cream product here before I go into just a couple of powders. I do like to use powders on the outer parts of my face. So for bronzing, contouring, sometimes a highlight, I'll use powders, but I am a huge, huge fan of creams everywhere. This is a Cover FX palette. Clearly it's been loved. And we're gonna use that cream highlight at the top. Sometimes if I'm doing a fuller makeup, I'll use that as a spot conceal on myself, or I'll use these two to kind of contour the face a little bit. But for the most part, as you can see, this highlight is my jam. That's what I go into. So when I'm doing this everyday no makeup look, I'll put a little bit of this on top of that Skin Food moisturizer that we used initially that's giving that initial shine. Just taking my finger, pressing it along the high points of the cheekbone. And it's just giving a nice shine that doesn't feel too artificial. It's creamy. I'm using my skin. I'm using the warmth of my finger to press it into the skin. It's blending beautifully. And it feels, oh yeah, nice and natural. I'm keeping that highlight away from that blemish that I have on my cheek, because if you guys don't know, highlight will draw attention to those areas. If you have uneven texture on the skin or blemishes, you want to kind of keep your highlight away from those areas. We don't want to highlight those areas. I take a little bit down the center of the nose. Press some onto the Cupid's bow. And my skin right now is just like happy, it's glowing. We are feeling good. Next, I'm going to take another, I told you guys, all Smith brushes here. This is my Desert Island brush. It's my 112. I say that because if I had to be stuck on a desert island and I could only bring one brush, this would be it. I use this for everything you could use this for. Loose powder all over the face, cream contour, powder contour, highlight, blush, wash shadows over the eyes, literally everything if you had to. I absolutely love it, it's my favorite. I'm gonna start in with a Too Faced powder. It's called Milk Chocolate Soleil. It's a light medium matte bronzer. It's a light medium matte bronzer. And it is a little bit warm, but I don't wanna do anything too ashy or too cool that's gonna make my contour a little bit too extreme. We're keeping this more on the natural side. So I take a little bit, tap off the excess on the brush, and then I start in the back corner by the ear, circular motions towards the corner of my eye. And as I'm circling, I start circling up the cheekbone. I don't want to drag this contour down into this cheek area because we want to keep this light. I just want to fit it right into that zygomatic arch, that dip underneath your cheekbone. Blend, 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 blend. Super soft. Whatever's left on that brush, I'm gonna take it under the jawline, and then I start to blend upwards just a little bit because we want that to blend up into the skin. We don't want this harsh line under here that just goes from dark to light. We're creating shape, we're accenting that bone structure. So we want that nice round, right? Your darkness comes into your light, so we gotta blend it. And I just use whatever's left on the brush. Daytime, we don't need to get wild with it here. So again, start at that top part of the ear, circular motions, don't mind my hair getting in there, and working it towards the outer corner of that eye. I really don't take it much past the outer corner of my eye or my brow, right there. We don't want to pull that contour forward too much, or that bronzer. And then circular motions up. I mean, already you can see, it's just defining those cheeks just a little bit more. Whatever's left on the brush, take it underneath, and again, blending up. I don't personally contour my nose. If you wanted to, you could. Another brush that would be great for that is the 220 that we used before. If you wanted to, it's like the perfect, I'll just do this for you guys, the perfect shape. Get that in there. I've got a nose, I love it, so I don't tend to take that extra step to contour my nose, but as you can see, this is a great color for doing a daytime super soft if you wanted to. So we did a little bit there, but I normally don't. I prefer to do my cheeks and a little bit on the jawline, a little bit around the forehead if I don't have my bangs fully forward, just to round out that shape, warm me up just a little bit. So the majority of my face right here is not, the only powder we've got going on is that right now. Lovely. Next, I'm gonna take just a second layer here. This is Jane Iredale, and I've used it for so long now I don't even remember which one it is because it's been loved. I'll find it, I'll link it below for you guys. But what I love in this palette is these two bronzer colors in the back. I just take the brush and I kind of mix the two shades together. And then same thing we did with that Milk Chocolate Soleil, except I keep this more focused towards the back of my cheekbone because that's where I want that deepest color to recede and kind of sculpt out that cheek. I don't need that darkness to come too far forward. Whatever's left on the brush, underneath. Again, a little bit on this side. So this way, if I'm going to do clients, I can still feel comfortable and soft, but they're not looking at me like I look crazy because I didn't put anything on my own face. Although sometimes my clients, I love you, you know who you are. I probably have shown up like that before. We've got this all set. Last but not least, I'm telling you, I use this brush for everything. Wipe off the excess onto a tissue. We're gonna take just a little bit of a powder highlight on top. I'm not doing any blush today. I like to keep it a little bit softer on the day-to-day basis. Like I said, I'm really just a brows, sorry, that one piece of hair. I'm really just a brows and lip girl. And I'm sorry, I keep looking into the feed here to check my makeup. So I'm gonna use a little bit of a powder highlight here. It's broken in my palette, but it's Jouer Cosmetics. And it's got like a gold reflex to it. It's kind of like a pink, but it's got more of a gold to it once you put it on the skin. And I'm just lightly applying that on top of that Cover FX cream highlight that we stuck on there, which one, it's gonna set that highlight for you. We're using a powder on top of a cream. Two, it's just adding another dimension and another layer. Still feels super light. A little bit down the nose, onto the Cupid's bow. And we're, yeah, perfect. And this one is the rose gold powder highlight from Jouer. Lastly, because I do have that little blemish, I'm just gonna go back in and take that Menage powder. Now that I've had the skin on for a little bit, part of that I feel like is starting to come through, but I don't wanna add any more liquid or cream. I'm just taking a little bit of powder. We're just gonna press it right on top. Again, like I said, I'm pretty comfortable with my skin. Everybody's got their days, everybody's got stuff that happens, and I don't mind if I'm just going day to day and something like this pops up. I do what I can to kind of cover it, and obviously the best thing you can do is put a matte powder in the areas where you feel like you've got texture or uneven skin, because it's not going to highlight those areas, so it'll help that kind of recede into the backdrop. Now that we've got this all set, I'm going to zoom in for you guys so we can do lips, and you guys can kind of get a little bit more detail on what's been going on in the skin. I brought you guys in a little bit closer here. Lastly, what I'll do is lips. We've got everything else done. Skin is nice and even, highlighted, hydrated, happy. This is definitely my signature look. I am such a red lip girl always. I right now have been loving the YSL. It is the Couture Matte Satin, and it's a red. It's beautiful. What I love about it is it's more of an orangey red, and I usually tend to gravitate, I'm a cool girl, I wear silvers. I usually tend to gravitate towards more bluer toned reds, but for whatever reason, I tried this one and I have just fallen in love with it. I feel like it gives my skin color, I don't know, it complements it really nicely, and I love it because I don't have to put lip liner on underneath. So when I throw this on for the day, it will cover, it stays even, it stays while I eat, drink. I absolutely love this. So you'll see, it's got such a nice finish. If I wanted to, I could put a lip pencil or a liquid lipstick, something else underneath it if I really wanted to layer it up, but it's just such a great formula that it's enough pigment on its own, and it's super easy to apply. It starts really nice and creamy and then kind of dries down a little bit more matte, but it still feels hydrating on the lips. So I always start at the bottom, and then as you see, I kind of just start to blot it up into my top lip. I like to work in layers and take my time so that every part of the lip is nice and even. So now I'm happy with that shape. Oh, look at it. It's just, you know, you pop something on like this and then you feel like you're good to go. Red lip makes everything better. I just take this up to that top part where we did the Cupid's bow. I just want to make sure that color is nice and even. That is it. So thank you guys. This is the finished look. I love it. It feels super light. I feel like I can touch my skin. I don't feel like anything is gonna move or come off on clothes. I feel like in person it reads really natural and beautiful. And then as you can see, like on camera, it looks really nice as well. It's that perfect happy medium of feeling like you've got a full face on, but it's not full coverage whatsoever. I love doing this. I will be back with more. Let me know if there's anything specific that you would like to see. Be sure to subscribe, and I will see you next time.